Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, X Stitch and Chill. If you are new here, my name is Kelsey and this channel is all about cross stitching. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for spending some stitchy time with me and coming back to check out my progress. So this video today is a little bit of a floss tube extra because it was the 24 hours of cross stitch last weekend and I wanted to talk to you guys about how it went for me. If you don't follow me on socials, then you probably don't know, but I did start on Friday and I'm pretty sure I only shared like one update post over the weekend. I really didn't do as much sharing as I would have hoped I would because it turns out stitching for 24 hours over 3 days is a lot. So the whole idea behind 24 hours of cross stitch is to stitch for 24 hours in a 3-day period. So usually we start on Friday and ends on Sunday. And you just work in your time zone and everything, obviously, because that would suck. And for some reason, I'm really bad at math, especially in my brain. And I was like, how many is that a day? If I do 24 over 3 days, and that's 8 hours a day. That's a lot of stitching. I mean, I stitch quite a bit, but never 8 hours in one day. So yeah, already feeling challenged just with that prospect in my brain. If you saw my 24 hours of cross stitch plans video I put out before the weekend, you will know that I had some goals, not really goals. I wanted to do 8 hours each day and I wanted to work on one project, and that was Deathly Hollows, which is by Thread Geeks is the chart and the artwork is by DJ Vigo. And this is I don't think it's my oldest whip, but it's one of my older whips. And it's my focus piece for the year and I would love to get it finished. So yeah, I thought maybe, okay, 24 hours on this project will really get me like zooming. So that was the goal, was to work on the one project for the 24 hours. I was doing this because Michelle of the Giddy Stitcher reminded me that it was happening. So I was like, oh, okay. And she was saying how if you work on one project, the before and after pictures are like more exciting. So I was like, okay, I'll work on one project because I like exciting before and after pictures. So why not? I was actually really hoping to get a page finish on Deathly Hollows, and spoiler alert, I did not get a page finish, but I got really close. So let's get into how this all played out. So day one started out strong. It was Friday. I didn't have any commitments until like later in the evening. And I woke up and I had my breakfast and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna empty the dishwasher and do some things around the house and then I'll sit down and stitch. So it was about 11 by the time I actually sat down and stitched. My daughter didn't have school, so I wasn't up as early as I normally am. So yeah, I started stitching and I stitched up until I had to take my daughter to her cheer practice, and then I stitched at cheer practice, and then I stitched when I got home. And on the first day I did manage to get the 8 hours and I was like, this is madness. This is a lot of stitching, and it was fun. It wasn't like I wasn't enjoying the stitching, but it was just like, it was a lot. I also intended to take a lot of like B-roll of this experience, but I did not because it was like, oh, well, if I take 15 minutes to set up a camera and everything, that's 15 minutes I lose of stitching. So yeah, I didn't really do a very good job about doing some B-roll, but I will show you guys what I do have. So that takes us into day two. Day one, we got our 8 hours. We crushed it. Day two, I also didn't have any commitments until later in the evening for my daughter. Her last cheer showcase was Saturday night, and I had planned that that wouldn't take too long. I mean, she like went at 5:35. I had to drop her off at like 4:30, and then she went at 5:35, and then the whole thing was over at 6. So I was like, oh, we won't be there very long. And I don't know why, but we were there for a lot longer than I wanted to be. My husband was rehearsing his dance teams in the same building, so we went up and we watched them, and it was a lot. But I stitched a little bit in the morning, and I got a few hours in, and then I had to get my daughter ready. It involves like makeup and hair and all the things. And I also didn't get a good start. Like, I didn't start until late. It was almost like 11 to 12 when I actually got started. And then after I dropped her off, there was like a gap of time before I could go in. So I stitched in my car for about 30 minutes. And then when I came home that night, luckily my husband was planning on cooking dinner, so I stitched while he was cooking. But he's also leaving this week, so I tried to spend some time with him while I could. And then we watched it was an F1 race, it's the Chinese Grand Prix this weekend, so we watched like a sprint race and qualifying, I think, on Saturday. So I was a little distracted, but I did end up getting 6 hours in on Saturday, so I wasn't too far off, but I was like, oh, well, now I have to do 10 hours on Sunday, and I can already tell that that's not gonna happen. So day 3 on Sunday, I was definitely slowing down. Prior to all of this, I had watched Crafting Gaming Jamie's floss tube, and she had talked about 24 hours cross stitch, and she's like, yeah, I'm not going to do it, because like after it I was like, I never want to cross stitch again. And I was like, oh, I'm feeling that. Like by the last day, it was just like it ended up being a chore. It's supposed to be fun. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do what I can today and see how it goes. So my daughter had like an end of the year cheerleading brunch thing that we went to, and that was like at 11 o'clock in the morning. But if you know me in real life, we are not on time for anything, especially if it's before noon. We're not morning people, and we are very slow in the morning. So we went to the brunch, and we were there from like 11:30 to 1, and it was kind of far away. So by the time we got home, my daughter wanted to go play with a friend. So we decided to give the dog a little WALK. If I say it, she'll get up. So we took the dog for a little WALK across the neighborhood to drop her off at a friend's house. And when I came back, I sat down and stitched, but I only got a few hours in before, I don't even know what happened. I kind of lost count and track of my hours on Sunday. I was just kind of stitching. And at this point, I had switched over to a different project because I just wanted to work on a different project. I was feeling a different project. So I started working on the Schitt's Creek landmarks stitch that I have. And just wanted to get some in there because that's pretty mindless. It's all like blocks of color, so it makes it pretty easy. And I feel like I was just tired because I had like peopled all weekend, you know, like Friday we were at practice, Sunday we were at the showcase, and then, or Saturday we were at the showcase, and then Sunday we were at brunch where I talked to people. And so I am very much an introvert, and being around people is exhausting. So I just came home and I was like, oh, I'm just so tired. I don't want to work on Deathly Hollows because it's just like a lot of leftover confetti left, and I didn't want to work that hard. So I didn't want to keep like looking at my pattern and looking back. I just wanted to do chunks. So that's why I switched to Schitt's Creek that day. And then we watched the F1 Grand Prix later that night when my husband got home from working. And even though we see spoilers all day, still like, we'll watch it. But I did stitch while we were watching the Formula One race. So I got in a sad 4 hours on Sunday. So in total, I got 16 hours worth of stitching in of my 24, which is not bad. I'm happy with my 16 hours. I feel like having other commitments and like your husband side-eyeing you because you've just been sitting and cross-stitching for the last 3 hours on the couch, you know, like 16 is pretty good for me. Maybe the next weekend I do it, he'll have to be out of town or something. I'll just do it on my own because then he won't be there to judge me. But he was kind of supportive. But anyway, that is how my weekend went. I did not quite make it to the 24 hours, but I did make a valiant effort. I feel like I'm rambling a lot, but so I apologize. But all of this is to say that I got those 16 hours done, and I wanted to show you the progress. So I'll show you the dramatic one. It's not too dramatic though, because there's a lot of light stitches, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see them. But so Deathly Hollows, this is where it started. And like I said, I put the first 2 days into this one. So 14 hours of, wait, did I do 18 hours of stitching then? Because I did 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then another 4. 18 hours of stitching. Oh my gosh. You guys, I suck at math, but I did 18 hours of stitching. That's even better. Okay. Feeling really good about myself now. Not about my math skills, but I'm feeling good about my stitching skills. So that is where it started, and then this is where it ended up. So I did like all these light stitches in here, if you can kind of see them. I know it's pretty bright in here, but yeah, so I just have a little bit more. There's a bunch of like random blue stitches in the blue still, and then still need to get around the moon a little bit, and then there's a bunch of black as well. So always black. There's a crap ton of black in this chart. But yeah, I almost got the page finished. It's pretty close. I'd probably finish it if I sat down and just stitched for a little bit longer. But I kind of been like, oh, I want to play with other projects. So that is where I got on Hollows, and it got, where are my notes? 1,425 stitches. So yeah, 1,425 stitches on Deathly Hollows over those 14 hours. And then on the last day, I worked on Schitt's Creek Landmarks, which is by Stitchy Time Designs on Etsy. And this is where I started with it. I am working on page like 5 or 6 or something. And it's a lot. It's a lot of blocking colors, but this is where it is now. So I did finish the green. I got some, you can't really see it, but there's like some really light stitching on this window. And then this window here is almost there, but this is my progress on it. And I did like grid the rest of this, because that was really helpful when I did it the last time when I really messed up and I was trying to figure out how to get back on track. I'm back on track now and things are better. So that was my progress. And this one got 574 stitches. So my total is a very annoying 1,999 stitches. Had I known that that's where I was, I would have done one more stitch, but yeah. Oh, and I did work on this one last night after the 24-hour weekend was over. So, because today's Tuesday. So yeah, I did work on this a little bit last night. So like, I think I worked mostly on this like window here and I don't know, maybe down here on the roof. I don't know. I did some of it yesterday, so not all of this is included in that 574 stitches. So that is how my weekend went. I think if I ever tried it again, which I'm not positive I would, just because like it's hard when you have other things that you need to handle to make other people in your life happy, you know, like going to the grocery store and doing other things. Like, I feel like maybe I would have, since I kind of jumped into this last minute, I feel like maybe I should have like prepared like at the beginning of the week and done a bunch of like chores and shopping and that kind of stuff, and like kind of got ahead of household things so that I didn't feel quite as guilty when things were staring at me, and I was just like, no, I'm just gonna ignore everything and keep stitching. So yeah, I think I would do that differently next time. And then maybe, you know, Michelle, the Giddy Stitcher, says that there are no rules technically to 24 hours of cross stitch. So I might count like my Thursday night stitches, like once I get home and we do dinner and I put my daughter to bed and then I sit down and stitch. I might count those hours into my stitching total of the 24 hours. It would only be like 2, but it's still, that's a difference. That's a difference between 18 and 20. So yeah, I think there would be some things I would do differently next time. But I did really enjoy, had a lot of fun, got to catch up and watch other people stitch on Discord, on my Discord, and also the Giddy Stitchers Discord, and everyone posting their updates and cheering each other on and everything. It was super fun to be a part of like that community over the weekend. Not that like now I'm gonna like drop off the face of the earth, but it was really fun to like kind of be around other people and feel like you had like cheerleaders rooting for you to get it done. There were a couple people who did make it through the full 24 hours, which is awesome. But I feel like any hours that you got in there is forward progress. So, and the next 24 hours of cross stitch, if you are interested, is on July 19th, I believe. And I will not be in town. I will actually be in Florida. So I don't think I will be participating because hopefully I will be sitting on the beach and soaking up the sun. But I am happy to be here for anybody to be your cheerleader if you wanted to try it. I do have a Discord, the link is down below, and we're always cheering each other on for things, and it's a good time. Thank you so much for watching. If you participated in the 24 hours of cross stitch, I would love if you left a comment below and let me know how many hours you got and how many stitches you got, and just, you know, your general thoughts on 24 hours of cross stitch. I would absolutely love to hear from you guys, baby, even if you're like, girl, you crazy, I'm never doing that. It's fine, to each their own. But if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more updates on my projects, I do post floss tubes about every other week, and I put progress on even more of my projects. So if you want to see those projects and the progress, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If not, just leave a like, because anything like that really helps my channel to get out there. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.